Hi, my name is Matt Magness, and I am a lifelong Fargo resident. I'm running for Fargo Parks. I'm hoping to get re-elected. I've been a Parks Commissioner for the last 4 years for one term. And I am really appreciative of the forum, being involved with the process to help inform voters, of course, and that's really a nice thing. And then I'd say I'm also really proud of the work that the Parks already does. I happen to be a legacy Parks Commissioner. My mother was a Parks Commissioner way back in the 70s and 80s. So I think I had a fondness for the idea of how parks play a role in our community. But it's something that I've really enjoyed. I'm really looking forward to the idea of spending another 4 years trying to steer the future of parks in Fargo-Moorhead. But that's the who I am and why I'm here.
Great. So what are the most important issues in your race?
Well, for me, I guess I break down the issues pretty broadly, and that may be because I'm an existing Parks Commissioner, because I see lots and lots of issues, but the issues aren't necessarily problems. They are things you hope to accomplish or grow or do better or change over time. But for me, they fall into three primary buckets that I would say are easier for people to sort of think through. The first one is safety and security. So park safety and security to me is something that we've had, to be quite frank, we've had growing issues. We have a growing city at large. Therefore, that growth and just the amount of people, the amount of users of our parks, especially at peak time frames and things, these are things that safety and security has become more of an issue. I think it's become more of an issue in everyday life as well, but it's certainly something that is crucial. I think the second thing is community engagement. And we're seeing that even as we see some of the topics like the Lindenwood topic being in the press lately, is that trying to engage with the public, get lots of feedback from the public, is something that is really important for us to try and play our roles well. And elections and who you elect in is part of how you choose, but being informed about it, and then in between elections, how do you stay engaged? So those are really key things to try to do. And then just growth. The city is growing at a very fast pace. So the idea that there are new developments, you go out to the edge of town, you don't maybe see it if you're living more in the heart of town, but or established neighborhoods, but you go out to the edge of town, you see just the pace at which new developments, and of course we see that very vividly from the parks, because new neighborhood parks, part of developments and things, are a big part of where we have to focus and have investment and make sure that we're collaborating with the city on trails and other access points into parks, and how the growth plan works out.
So how would you address those issues?
Well, there are a couple things going on already within safety and security. So we are having our first ever Parks Resource Officer created, and that's something that we've been very much focused on. It's something that I feel is a great idea. It is just the implementation of it, so that person hasn't actually been hired yet. We're about to launch into that. They will really help, but they aren't just a patrol person. They are also helping us strategically really look at security, safety across the parks as a whole. What tools are we using? Technology, like potentially the idea of having cameras in certain places so we can monitor those locations easier. But first and foremost, this is a security trained police officer that's going to patrol, but that as well is also going to engage with the Fargo Police to be a liaison, and the Fargo Police plays a key role as well in the safety and security in parks, so that's a complement to it. But we're trying to take on more ownership and additionally more expense ourselves to ensure that safety is a high priority, that we're able to address it more proactively. We see trends, we see analysis of that information better.
And what differentiates you from your opponents, and why should someone vote for you?
Okay. I didn't elaborate at all on the other couple points, so I guess I will come back to it just from a standpoint. Community engagement. This is something, trying to stay informed, I think, is a challenge. It used to be that we had more presence at our meetings. We had maybe more feedback from the community. I don't get that many emails, to be frank. As a Parks Commissioner, I expected a much more aggressive email load or something where people were expressing their opinions. I certainly get feedback on the street, so to speak, and from friends and that kind of thing. But it is something, trying to gain feedback. I think we have to be more proactive about gathering feedback. It's just something that is more crucial to figure out what's the pulse of the community. We did do a actual, at a significant cost, we did a large consultant engagement to get feedback, a green place study that was done, a consulting firm that did a study about what are the desires, what are the things people want in the community. So that's something we're investing in. I think an example would be that, how to stay more informed, how to stay more engaged is really, really critical. And then I think in the third place, we just are growing at such a pace. We really have to try and figure out how to, champion the idea that now is a time to invest in parks. Whether you're looking at it as a conservative or a liberal or something, I think the growth of Fargo sort of demands a little more aggressive investment now. You can't come back and put a park in, 10 years later. You have to sort of, get that footprint and get the green space and things planned at the outset. So those are things that are really crucial for where we sit right now. There's a lot of cross collaboration, reduction in redundancy, collaboration across Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo for parks, as well as, for that matter, city parks, and the schools are very, very close in terms of how we collaborate. So it's something that works really well today. You can't ever maybe have too much collaboration, but on the other hand, we'd like to see that continue and grow on it.
And again, what differentiates you from your opponents, and why should someone vote for you?
Well, I think I'm fortunate enough to be able to say I've done it before. I've been a parks commissioner, so I am experienced at this role, and I think I've gotten better and better at it over the course of time, so that's good. I think additionally, I've been a lifelong resident. I'm involved with lots of activities around town. I'm a business owner around town. I am engaged with lots of other small businesses. My wife's been an educator in Fargo for 30 plus years. My son lives here, goes to college, but grew up using parks and parks programs and the course and that kind of thing. So in my mind, I think I've got a very balanced, well-rounded view of Fargo Parks activities. I also think that just electing somebody who you think has got high integrity, honesty, and specifically that you would anticipate they exercise good judgment in terms of how they look at, the array of topics and look at things in a balanced way. So that's what I would hope people would see in myself, and that's what I'd be thinking differentiates myself.